Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Argate TV. Welcome to Newspaper Headlines Review, the Tuesday edition of the program. And my name is Benjamin Gutav, and welcoming you warmly to this program. I have today sitting with me to look at this program, the papers, what the papers are saying. I have two gentlemen who indeed have vast knowledge when it comes to what is happening happening in Nigeria and the world. I have, by my rights, Barrister Polycarp and former Secretary NBA Makurdi branch. And I have, by my left, Uche Norom, correspondent, People's Daily. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Of course, nice. I like the way you people respond. Okay, so nice meeting.
Almost at the same time.
Yeah, so fine. As usual, on Tuesdays like this, we begin with Agate newspaper. Just to also bring to your notice that Agate, it's a combination of radio, TV, and newspaper, and we also have a new newspaper edition as well. So we'll have a new edition of the newspaper, and which is what we will begin with, the first paper on this edition. Agate newspaper, and it begins with this big story. Politics is not cow to milk. That's Professor Oka tells Benue politicians, insists that politicians must engage in other businesses. And again, you have above the nameplate, or rather just below that, you have Benue civil servants call for quick implementation of new minimum wage. And above the nameplates, you have NLC rejects fuel price increase, and Nasarawa governor worried as Benue APC crisis worsen. As if his own he doesn't have a problem in Nasarawa. Okay. So we are tired of your antics and skirmishes to tutors Benue politicians. These are the stories you have on Agate newspaper. Of course, it's a weekly publication, and we have the 27th publication. But gentlemen, these are the stories you have. Politics is not cow to milk. Professor Oka tells Benue politicians. Of course, Oka has been. Is someone who has the knowledge of Benue. Let me start with you, Andy. Andy, you're looking at what Oka is saying. He's advising politicians to go into other businesses.
Yes, I think it is not only Professor Oka that shares that sentiment. I think the same sentiment is shared by very many Nigerians, not limited to Benue. We want to tell politicians that politics is not cow for everybody to make. Professor Oka is a veteran politician of the Second Republic. And so when he compares the politics of the Second Republic and that of today, he clearly knows that so many things are wrong. And so he's cautioning politicians that even if it is a cow to milk, by now the cow should have run out of milk. So there is the need for us to also, people to diversify, explore other areas where they think they can get gains, rather than putting politics as their own profession, as their own vocation, and as their own means of livelihood. Because when you feel that it's a cow to milk, there is the need, you feel that this cow must be milked at all times, even at the detriment of the Benue populace of the Nigerian politics. So I think it's a caution and a word of warning to politicians that it is high time we looked elsewhere for other means of livelihood, rather than putting politics too much on the front burner.
But of course, Uche, if you look at this, by the time you a politician, a grassroots politician, someone who perhaps has not seen so much money, and all of a sudden he becomes, he assumes to a position where he becomes, he sees a lot of money, billions. When he hits his account, he says, wow, is this actually money? And the person all of a sudden erects a business, establishes businesses and the rest. There is a sentiment of the public that he has stolen. So from what Professor Oka is saying, engage in other businesses. How can we reconcile the public sentiments that, okay, he has stolen, there's corruption here, and of course the person has actually invested and established business. So how can we reconcile the sentiments and what this man is saying?
If I understand very well from what Professor Oka said, is that politicians should, before they don't call him, a second profession to that person. You should have had a business that you can fall back on. That's why in other climes, you can see in England and other places, a prime minister can easily resign. He can resign and then go fall back to his first calling. So he already has the first calling. He already had something that he was before he went into politics, before he was called. You know, in Nigeria here, they don't call you. In other places, because of your integrity, they see the integrity in you. They call you to come delve into politics because you have the, you have the wherewithal, you have the knowledge, the intellect, and everything to do well. So they ask you to come in other climes. But here, everybody just jumps into it because there's so much money in it, and that's why you see them. There's something they don't have anything to fall back on. It's politics all their life. They die in politics, and that's all. You have another second calling, it's another place to fall back on. So what Professor Carr said is just apt, and it's just right that yes, politicians should have a second calling, a business, set up a business before you go into politics. Politics should be a second calling to you. If you can easily leave politics at any time, then fall back on that business or fall back on your profession, and you still do well.
Okay, but from what you have just said, I've just had something to talk about it, Barrister Andy.
Yeah.
He said in other climes, the people are called.
Yes. Looking at a pedigree, and looking at the competence to deliver deliver for the people.
Let's now X-ray the political terrain in Nigeria. Is it based on service or is based on selfishness?
Let me tell you, the first burn of that hinders development in Nigeria is what we call the principle of rotational politics. That's the first thing that hinders competence. So zoning is slaughtered on the altar of competence. Do you understand? In developed, like he said, in developed nations or in other clients, people call you. They look at the populace or electorate look at your credentials. They look at your competence to deliver benefits or dividends to them and decide to say, yes, you can come, and we feel that you are fit for this purpose. But in Nigeria, we don't look at the competence. We look at the zoning. You say, yes, this is last year it was this post 10, and this time around it's going to be for these people. So they don't look at the sentiments, and that is why they say you can put it on anybody at all. You can bring any Dick and Harry because it's from his zone. You bring him to come and deliver, and the man comes there with a perspective that is going to make money. Because in Nigeria, there's this presumption that politics gives you money and quickens and accelerates your level of wealth, and so people come into it thinking that they will come and enrich themselves. For personal aggrandizement, is not for service. So that's the first thing, until we begin to look at competence as against zoning. Then we competence and merit.
But can't we get competence from even the zoning? From what he said, be into business before you go into politics.
Because there's also what they call macro zoning. By the time you macro zone into a particular area, you might probably not get somebody who has the merit or who has the competence.
Who has no business at all.
At all. They just bring you to say it's zoning, so he must come. And they begin to consider other sentiments that are not even proper at all. They tell you that from the kind of micro zoning that happens, get to a point that if you're not very careful, they will even go and bring, because it gets to a point that will tell there's nobody, we don't even have anybody who has the competence, who has the merit, but because it's from a place, give it to him. Whether it's a log of wood, put it on top of the log of wood. So these are the sentiments that we express in Nigeria, and they hinder development completely. You don't see that in develop or the other crime that my colleague mentioned.
There is an adage or something in the Hausa land which says, Sekai Kuba poster. Whether you have poster or not, you must do it. So, of course, you've said something there, and I kind of look at. But if there's a particular video that is running on social media, where the campaigns, I think in one of the off-season campaigns, where we saw a governor saying, "I'm going to provide you in security."
A hospital.
Yes, hospital.
Kidnapped nurses.
Yes.
Kidnapped patients. I was also a country away. People who have gone to the hospital to seek medical attention. They are being kidnapped.
You know Hassan Kuka, Bishop Hassan Kuka, who said that it is only in Nigeria that you see all our leaders, they're not prepared. If you look at the history or the ascension to power, you will discover that they just come. None of them is prepared. If you look at it, somebody is just somewhere, they just say, come. I think you understand. He's looking, and he started with the presidency. Yes. He said Obasanjo was in prison when they brought him. I don't know what they understand. Yeah. Jonathan was in the class, he was a lecturer when they brought him. He made mention of so many of them. And you look at it, you come to agree with him, you come to the irresistible conclusion that actually our leaders are
So
never prepared.
where do we start from? As if perhaps now I am seated here, I want to become
Like he said, you must groom yourself. That's what you call recruitment. They have to begin to recruit you at the grassroots.
Yes.
They have to begin to look at your credentials, your capability, your merit. They begin it doesn't come by happenstance. It comes by a strategic and a conscious planning of who becomes. And the people must have looked at your credentials. They said, no, when we gave him it, he was a class teacher. He did very well. He arose to the rank of the principal. He did very well. Or the dean of studies. He did very well. So people begin to look at your history and make notes. They compile notes and say, no, if you give him greater responsibility, there's a possibility that he will do well.
But Jonathan has an history of, he was a assistant prefect or so, but later on became
and that's why he's called Jonathan. It's just good luck.
Good luck.
But if you ask other people, they will tell you that if you compare him with the current government, he probably did better.
But let's look at this. It appears that we practice a different democracy from other clime, and he's talking about the grooming starting from grassroots.
Yes.
Do you think our democracy gives room for that?
Well,
Although we're still on this, but just looking at so that the young men who are coming should not also think
you have almost put the words in my mouth.
So
talking about the young ones.
Yes, the young ones. So
that is why there's no opportunity. Opportunities are not being given to the young ones to showcase their talent, showcase their intellectuals in politics, because the elderly ones, like you said, they don't groom them. They're not being groomed. Well, if not, you tell a young man that when he's 30, you can, in other places, at 30, you're a president. Macron. Emmanuel Macron.
Yeah.
I rose the presidency in
France
at the age of 30-something.
if I come out for governor now, they will say...
They say you are too small. You're a young boy. They start asking, who is his father? Where's your pedigree? Where are you coming from? You know, this keep asking questions.
Is it not that young man that speaks on TV?
Exactly.
So those are the
they don't care to ask this young man, what does he have to offer?
Yeah.
Does he have anything upstairs? Does he have anything intellect to offer to the state or to the nation or in the House of Representatives or the Senate anywhere? Nobody asks about it. They don't say, you're too young.
I think
too young. They came out here, you're too young to run.
Yeah.
Too young. That slogan.
Has it actually worked?
It didn't work.
No, but Buhari said...
Not too young to run.
Buhari said, young men, pipe low. When I finish, you can come on. And after immediately you finish, then we have a million.
And they call the lazy youths.
You know, I'm one of those that I'm not an advocate of the youth when it comes to involvement.
I think Minister of Interior is doing very, very well. People are getting their passports very at home.
Yes, that's some bit of skeletal examples that you can show, because we have so many of them to show where the young men, young men have this flair for very good things, and they are not deep thinkers. You have very few of them. I will begin to let you know
maybe
the ones
maybe the ones that
we must be prepared.
Maybe the ones that have been entrusted. Some of them, because this generation has some kind of preparedness. But of course,
you have those who are doing very well. You look at when this one that just stepped down from a prominent Ajuri Ngalale, he's a young man and he's doing very well. They are the people that brought the blue economy. And when you begin to mention few of them that are in the government, the cabinet, that they are doing very well. Young people are actually doing very well. But when you look at, if you come down to at a state level and at the local government level and at the level of communities, you begin to wonder whether our youths are actually...
Okay, but
that's the topic.
We have diverted a bit, but I think it's another topic we have to look at. Assess the current administration, both federal and state, and see the involvement of young men, even in the political terrain. Now the PDP is conducting its primaries in Benue State particularly. How much of young men are participating, who bought forms, and how much of the opportunities do they have? It's something that we'll have to look at, because the older guys are going, and the older guys are relying on the young men to carry out certain functions, but they're not giving them the room to do it themselves. Okay, but some stories here to look at again on iGate News. It's Benue civil servants call for quick implementation of new minimum wage. Quickly, your response in one.
I remember when that new minimum wage was signed, we had asked the governor that same day, and they said he was prepared. The party even told us that he had even gone ahead before then to set up a committee to negotiate with Labour for the implementation of the...
What negotiation again?
Well, that's what
if-
that's what he told us. That he already set up a committee
Yeah. You must do
to
some
ensure
in-house.
the implementation. He said he was
Yeah.
going to, he was prepared to implement it 100%.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, many months after, we are still talking about
I have a
the
problem with
implementation.
I have a problem with governance and policy implementation when it comes to a government. There is no timeline.
Yeah, it's one of the things
There's no
that also
timeline,
hinders
yes.
development.
Yes.
There's no timeline.
Because Nigerians they have too much. They compete with time a lot. They just don't, they're not time conscious. They do things the way there are no timelines, and I agree with you completely. Even if you have to do, yes, I agree that there has to be some bit of realigning, in-house realigning, and in-house clearing. I think within the period when this was signed, the new minimum wage law was signed, and this particular moment, there's enough time for the governor to
Yes.
clear this house, cross the T's and dot the I's, and the people begin to enjoy.
And now that the hardship is even biting.
Yes.
And then again, the labor leaders should also wake up. All right, so their responsibility. You see, you don't raise cries. You must keep them on his toes.
Yeah, you must keep it in his toes.
And it was just recently that they issued a statement. They met and they issued a statement that the government should start implementing the minimum wage. So
Okay.
They won't give the government the deadline to start implementing. They
Okay.
wake up.
We're going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the program. Don't go anywhere.
If you're not committed to someone, then you don't have to be faithful to that person.
When you're talking about fidelity and trust, you could be faithful, you could be loyal. And if your partner feels or perceives you are not, does that mean you are not?
Appearance could make someone not be faithful. Sometimes you have a partner that don't really look at the needs, your needs. I'm talking about the financial aspect. Doesn't
Yes.
look at your needs, and then there's someone that sees
the
needs too.
lady in you is
Yes.
screaming needs. And you feel like
Waiting, you won't see need to talk to someone, then you won't cheat on me. I want to talk to you and just you. I don't want you to talk to multiple
some
people.
people they
All right, you're welcome. Newspaper. The Punch newspaper carries this banner headline: Ajay Rose arrest saga. DSS succumbs to pressure as NLC plans showdown. That's the Punch newspaper, and it says, the writer says, Labour leader released ahead of NLC's 21 midnight ultimatum.
12 midnight.
Okay, 12 midnight ultimatum, sorry. And PDP, LP, others lampoon FG over arrests, invasion. Okay, this man has been having a running battle with the DSS and the federal government. So, of course, the federal government and DSS, they are the same body. So, the bottom line, the bottom there of the paper, you have 14 billion illegal arms. Lawyer's absence stalls suspect's arraignment. And some cherry, aha. Enugu, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom lead as monkeypox spreads to 21 states. Okay, I hope we're not going to have the Ebola scenario in our hands, or the which was the recent one, COVID. Telecom services risks a disruption as 800 workers begin strike. Okay, AGF plans to abolish pardon for convicted looters. I think this will interest Barrister and some cops in Gota. Ajero, the number one Labour man, is in crisis. Uche,
Yes. This has started long time during the NSAS and the bad governance protests when the security operatives stormed the NLC office, and they were asked to there are several calls or pressures, alarms were raised that they should to evacuate the NLC. Which they didn't do. Next thing we heard that Nigeria was on the security watch list. Then he was bid to travel on Monday, that was yesterday, to UK for Trade Union Congress, National Trade Union Congress program in UK. Then he was picked at Nandes Stadium on Monday. And it had to take a lot of pressure. The NLC was prepared to go on the showdown. They gave government ultimatum, release this man or things will go bad. So by midnight Tuesday yesterday, they had to release him.
Do we need
all this?
Do we need this at this time?
We don't need all this at this time. It's a way of just shutting down the rights of people to speak on issues. Because now he's going to UK and he's supposed to address the trade.
He was scheduled to
address the Congress.
Yeah.
And he knows if he opens his mouth, he will speak certain things that will not be palatable to the federal government, and that's a way of stopping him. They have to arrest him at the airport so that he couldn't go. And now the man has missed the chance of going there to address the Congress. So I don't know why the government has decided to take up arms against labor.
Armless people.
Yes, government is taking up arms against armless people, CSOs and NGO people. They don't want the government people to speak, voice out their opinions about what is happening, the rot, the corruption that is happening under the government. Then you shut the people's mouth. This is not democracy.
I think that agrees with what you were asking. You were asking whether sometimes you wonder whether Nigeria is actually democratic.
Yes. No.
These are the incidences that when you see, you conclude that actually we're not practicing
not even close to it.
Not even close to it, completely. Because why will you, if you state the reasons for his arrest, they're very funny reasons.
Very funny.
He said he was grieved for over 15 hours. Even police came to interview him, to interrogate him in the DSS custody. That's what he said. And he said, yeah, it was part of what they were asking him is that the terrorist, the late terrorist Andrew Wayne, is a tenant in the building, in the NLC building there, and it's on the second floor. And Nigeria say our office is on the 10th floor. So what nexus has it to do with the arrest? Do you understand? If Andrew Wayne is adjudged, if Andrew Wayne is adjudged to be a terrorist, why did it take the Nigerian security agency so long to discover that he's a terrorist? You understand? Until issues started coming up. One of the issues that ASU said they were proceeding on strike. The federal government is in some form of disagreement between Labour and the federal government, and then so many issues at this time. You understand? So the timing is not good. You understand? And the reasons are also not tenable. And in a democracy, where you say that you enthrone and that you also uphold the rule of law, these things, and protect the rights of citizens, this is not correct.
It's unfortunate.
Yes, it's not correct.
Unfortunate. This is for government to do the right thing, so that you can avoid all these.
A government that is people are already complaining. A government that is supposed to let us know there's a better government is good. The government keeps escalating issues every day. So you really just wonder. The government is more interested in irrelevance, not main germane issues that touch on the life and interest of
economic issues are being left out, and then they pursue shadows.
You made mention of his appearance. He was going to address. Were you saying that his address would have caused a lot of issues regarding concerning this?
Surely he was spoken on very topical issues that affect the economy of Nigeria, affect the interest and welfare of workers. He would have surely said that. Yes, he would have said, because he was scheduled to also address that Congress. And so he would surely have said one or two things that the government feels are very prejudicial. And so I agree with him completely that part of the reason why he may have been arrested was not for him to go and open his mouth there and give the government a bad name, which
isn't this a bad name already?
It is.
Perhaps maybe it's
it is. Escalating it.
Yes.
Because surely the NLC is the vice president or NLC is going to send some form of report back there why he was not there, and his arrest was already in the media. So those who invited him also have read. This is the reason why he's not coming. So you can't lie. You understand? You can't lie.
The announcement could just be that, sorry, Ajero is supposed to address us, but has been arrested in his country home. Gentlemen of the press, we wait as we look up.
That diplomacy, they may not have said that, but they would have looked for something else. They won't be far from the truth.
But again, you're a lawyer, and yesterday I was just discussing this with one of my with my boss, and we're looking at this. Court gives a what do you call it?
A ruling or a decision,
a restraining order.
Yeah,
and it is not obeyed.
It is one of the things that we're talking about democracy. In a true democracy, these things don't happen.
Like
one of the things is that the constitution is supreme.
Yes.
The rule of law, you must obey the rule of law. There is the separation of powers. These are incidences of a true democratic nation.
How can this?
So how can you not respect and obey court orders?
So how can it be obeyed? Who takes that final step that this has to be obeyed?
Let me tell you that the judiciary has woken up to its responsibilities, and one of it is that they give very exemplary judgments and decisions now, very punitive decisions. You recall what happened in Plateau State. There were some political litigations in Plateau State in respecting some members of the House of Assembly.
Yes.
And the court ordered go back and conduct primaries. They went back and didn't do it. They did some political rigmarole. What happened? The Court of Appeal said yes, there's completely no House of Assembly. There was no election for I think it was PDP. There was no elections at all.
Yes.
They sent all of them packing. So if it becomes too much for the judiciary, they have example and punitive judgments that they will give. I don't know whether that's how they are trying the judges an impression that this is the kind of person you are. So you must come to them, not first time, not second time, you must even come at the third time and for more times. So the courts have decided that because you don't want to obey court orders, there is a way, evolve a way to deal with you. And I'm sure they are going to, the government will learn one or two lessons as things unfold.
But since we're talking about the NLC, just we'll come back to the fuel issue. The Sun is saying, the Riders on the Sun says, the Daily Sun says, claims his arrest plot is to scuttle minimum wage implementation, demands immediate reversal of petrol price to 617 naira, and PDP, of course, just talking about the minimum wage. Even the federal government made a show of signing it quickly, and nothing has also happened. It still boils on the issue of implementation. When the national, what do you call it, national anthem, quickly was implemented.
Accelerated hearing. The first readings finished and the president assented to it.
Is it because it had nothing to do with
money? And the president assented to it quickly.
Maybe it has nothing to do with money.
It has something to do with money. One, you needed to go and correct all official documents to reflect the national anthem. You understand? You need to also mobilize for schools when people to begin to sing national anthem.
But this one, you don't have to negotiate how much you spend. But let's compare looking at it from the other side of the minimum wage. The minimum wage, there were so many battles before.
Their policies and whatever. There's politics in all this. Because there's so much trouble. What we need to do is that let's arrive at a middle ground and then we'll go back and sit and wait and delay the implementation. So it's part of politics. And that's one of the things that we are complaining here. The government must come out to negotiate with labor in good faith. You understand? Now, by the time you agree with them on certain issues, you have to implement them. This may not be the end of the strike. It may not be because if the implementation as it is appears to be delayed, they will still come up again.
Okay, well, let's go to the Punch newspaper again, just above the nameplate. Fuel landing cost rises. Marketers fear high Dangote petrol price. Dangote came in and we were all, oh, our savior is here. Refinery may beat down PMS price. Queues reduce as depot supply product. We were all relieved. In fact, that was the first time, personally, I was seeing fuel or PMS we have. Okay? Looks like water.
Yes.
Looking at that, let's know somebody so that we don't go to mistake and take it thinking that it's water and then. But Dangote said this is the original. But of course, you and I know that.
She burns very fast.
And I was discussing with somebody who says that was the third grade that comes back into the. Why? our cars too don't last. The engines are not getting, because some of these cars are Tokumbo cars. They're coming from, they've enjoyed better fuel.
Yeah.
But the moment they begin to see this fuel, they say, this is an alien.
Completely different to
So you can imagine a country that is a producer, oil producing nation.
It's benefiting, it's enjoying the third grade
of
but
the oil that it produces.
Dangote is coming up with the pure honey, more or less to say, the pure content. I bet it said the landing cost has risen.
When Dangote announced that he was going to be the refinery, people thought it was going to be Uhuru. They shouted, praise be to God, thank be to God, somebody is coming to, to save us, to deliver us. But I kept saying it, that this man is a businessman.
He's a businessman.
There's no way to look at it. This is talking about landing costs. You expect somebody to get a product from expensive landing cost to the high landing cost and sell it for you for 600 or 500.
For instance, he gets it at 700 naira because they're selling it.
He cried there. He cried and said, give me oil.
Yes.
Give me our own oil. The man was begging.
Yes.
They told us I could refine.
And the federal government said we sell it in
They prefer to take our oil to Malta.
Yes.
Refine it there and bring it back to us. Who has that Malta refinery? Up to this moment, DSS they are not done the investigation to find out who was that Malta. And billions of barrels of oil are in Malta, refined and sent back to us. Meanwhile, we have a refinery. We have an indigenous, and one that has built a refinery. We have refineries that are not producing. They keep playing politics about it. By August, the refineries will start producing. Will come into operation. And by this month, they keep shifting the dates up to this month. Up to this month. We don't know when our refineries will come to.
And the one that is coming from Malta is not even the first grade.
No, it's not.
You understand? Yeah. Then they're talking about the third grade to Nigeria. You understand? This country, from where you took the crude, you understand? So, and who are the people exporting and bringing back the fuel? The same Nigerians. You understand? So, like he said, who has the refinery in Malta? That's it. And Dangote comes up all of a sudden and says, I'm going to revive Nigeria. I'm going to take you out of this problem. And then begin to
stabilize the economy.
That's sabotaging him.
So, and then you have grade 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the story that came after he made his own announcement that we're ready, we have the crude, we have everything, we've refined and the rest. And then PCL said, hey, we want to be the only buyer. We want to buy and then we'll give to
independent marketers. So that Nigeria, look at the chain of that's also going to come with going to come with some bit of additions. They pan a bit and pad virtually everything. By the time it gets to us who are the end users, you're going to pay heavily for it. So you ask, what has Dangote actually done? Has it impacted anything?
So you might even get back to the grade 3 if it passes through NNPCL.
And that's why I agree with when somebody said that when Fela sang that Suffering and Smiling, that is what we are doing. You know, we have come to be so comfortable with our agonists in such a manner that we don't even complain. Even when we complain, you still have within those who are complaining, you still have somebody who are going to sabotage that complaint. Assuming that we're 3 of us here who are complaining about a particular thing and want to take an action. Somebody will go behind and find a way of sabotaging the 3 of us. So you reduces the force. That your force of complaint begins to reduce because we're not on all fours.
What can we do to? What do you think we can do to remove NNPC? I think that is. There
have been several calls that remove carry them.
Yes.
They will say it's welcome.
Yes.
The man is one of the problem of
not even the headship.
Yes.
Let's remove NNPC from this Dangote chain of reaching to the Dangote's fuel reaching to people, so that if you're a marketer, you connect to Dangote straight.
You buy straight from Dangote.
I'm asking, how do what can Nigerians do to make sure that NNPC, their plan to become the sole buyer of this, will not work, so that just a marketer. I have a filling station. I just moved to Dangote. Hey, Dangote, please, can you give me some 3 tankers and the rest? Is it possible?
For now, it's almost because they're
very good.
Regulator.
They're the regulator. Yes,
so it's almost near impossible.
Yeah, they're the regulator.
If you can't get fuel, so you can't get crude from nowhere else except NNPCL. So it's almost impossible for now to get.
The purpose is not a
Even
bad
that
one.
himself, the lights will rely on them.
Yeah, the purpose is not a bad one.
Exactly.
For you to say that fuel should come to the end users through
directly,
NNPC, it's not a bad one. If you look at the template, if you look at the content of that memorandum of understanding between Dangote and NNPC,
yeah.
it appears to be more protective of citizens than any other person. But in the course of the implementation, they don't enforce or they don't comply with we don't comply strictly with the content of that arrangement. So it becomes difficult for us to enjoy what is contained there, because it is one of it is that Dangote there should be some form of qualification.
Yeah.
There should be standard of measure between what is coming to the end users, and that is to be regulated by NNPC. You understand? But for the purpose of that arrangement may not be satisfied. So sometimes it becomes a problem. So it's impossible, like you said, because of the regulators.
I posted on my social media handle that once I'm waiting for Dangote's fuel. Once it comes in, that is when I'll go and queue up. For now, I can't just stand the stress of when I pass at NNPC and I look at the queues. Of course, from NNPC up onto close to almost as GTB.
Yeah.
That's where the queue.
Yeah.
And some people stay there.
Yeah.
Some people bring their cars and they just die there for days.
Sleep there till only God knows when.
And when you see the queue, you will also see directly opposite the entrance.
Yes.
You have a queue. These are the black markets. This one's paid their way into the village, while the ones on queue are
the surprising part of it is the exit.
Yes.
There's an queue.
Yes.
That is for privileged.
Very good.
Privileged people. So privileged people pass through the exit.
Yes.
Government officials. Not just the government officials.
So they pass through the exit.
Yeah.
In fact, if after you have taken your fuel, you have to wait for them to enter first.
Yes.
Oh goodness. Okay, let's go. Monkeypox in 21 states. I don't know whether the federal government is looking at that very
It's a
strongly.
solid thing. It keeps spreading and keeps spreading and spreading, and then like you said, maybe take the shape of COVID. And one funny thing in this country, we always want to take advantage of everything. We're not looking at the effect, the damage it's doing on our health system. We are looking at what the gains in terms of monitoring. Look at what happened in COVID. We are aware that recently the unspent funds from COVID was shared to all the states.
Yes.
All the states got the highest, almost 27 billion naira.
Imagine. You see?
There's a lot of they get a lot of interventions from World Health Organization, other partners, World Health partners.
Yes.
But at the end,
the
money does not. The money is not utilized
properly.
not properly utilized, and these things
keep happening.
You
You even have a department for disease control.
Disease
control, and they are there, and so much budget goes to that agency. So one expects that before these things come up, there should be some public enlightenment. They should let the people know that there's going to be an outbreak of some of these things and take proactive steps towards.
They won't take proactive steps.
As you said, I also read that particular news where the COVID proceeds, I'll call it proceed,
leftovers, the COVID leftovers
was said amongst the states. What could have been properly done with that money? Is it better shared, or should be a targeted implementation of a particular policy? For instance, I say, how about the primary health care? I don't know whether any of you have visited the local government recently and see how these guys are.
I've gone to almost virtually all the primary health care centers in Benue, 2 and 3. When I was going on tour with the Victim Support Fund, the Dajima for this.
What did you see?
If you go there, I even had pictures of them. If you go there, they're complete eyesore. There's nothing to write home about. And government will always tell you, will focus on primary health care. Even if you go now, there's not there's like what where they breed rodents.
There's an agency for that.
There's an agency.
There is.
There's an agency.
Yes, there is.
But are they funding the agencies?
You understand?
They're not funding them.
So this COVID money comes in and
that COVID money shouldn't have been shouldn't have been shared. Governments, the state governments have a lot of money to throw around.
Yeah.
Here they see the amount they share on a monthly basis from the
from FAC.
Yeah.
If you like,
that money is not supposed to be shared. You just keep it like they have the consolidated funds.
Yeah.
Keep it there. Look at that. There's an outbreak of monkeypox.
you see,
The monkeypox.
I think there's
that money should have been used.
a sovereign weight
Sovereign weight fund.
fund. You can put this money.
Put the money there.
Or you can set committees at the federal government level and ensure that they implement. You see, when this project that was initiated by the federal government and the Buhari was the one that was given. Is it ITF or what? There was one that Buhari, then he was not the president. They gave him the project.
Yes,
and
the trust fund.
Very good.
Yes.
So if you channel these resources and give it to people that you know that they have proven integrity, they have records that this can be done.
Managed.
You can put money and say it's across the entire federation. Ensure that these hospitals in the 23 local governments of Benue, in social local governments in this state are functioning. Do it and ensure that it works and it will work. Rather than just giving the money to state governors to go and use it the way they want.
No monitoring. And
No monitoring.
And
it will surprise you to know that it's not only fact that comes to the state. You have this,
There are
like the one we
others,
talk about, the other ecological fund. There are so many that heads of revenue that come to the state. So
okay, the local parlance will say there is wahala. There's problem. Okay, let's go to the Nation newspaper. It comes up with this different banner headline: AGF seeks end to pardon for corruption convicts. Fagbemi, we need law review to stop prerogative of mercy for those jailed for graft. And Jero's issue talked about bandits abduct nurses. You talked about that, patients in attack on hospital. I don't know how they go. Niger tanker fire, death toll rises to 59. That's a sad one. When I read that, I was almost in tears. 18 critically injured. LP withdraws 2027 automatic tickets for OB and OT. Okay, that's another brewing crisis there. So I learned that there was a particular story, I think a few days ago, where OB and Kwankwaso and Atiku, so a story that they're talking. Yeah, they're talking. They're in talking terms, and they perhaps want to come back.
Politicians will always talk. Have they stopped talking? They will never stop talking.
With
They
the
always
mega
talking. So they leave the public to imagine what they're discussing, to speculate what they're discussing. Politicians are always talking.
Yes.
If Atiku meets Obi today, they will talk. If he meets Kwankwaso tomorrow, they will still talk. If he meets, they will still talk. You understand? It's left for the public to begin to speculate what they're discussing. But for politicians, they will never. In fact, they begin to plan ahead of 2027. So they have begun to plot their graphs and look at the prospects of Obi winning when he comes back. Or is it going to be at the same magnitude when he comes back? So they're looking at those yeah. So yes, yes.
No permanent enemy.
There's no permanent.
And during the campaigns, they were all throwing jabs at each other.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, you are too.
You think they are sworn enemies?
But now, one interest.
No.
One interest. They're coming.
Yeah.
But let's look at this. AGF says seeks end to pardon for corruption convicts. Barrister.
This is long overdue. It's long overdue. You understand? You take the Singapore experience and other countries. They don't use kid gloves for politicians who are corrupt. You understand? They hang with the cut your hands and whatever. You understand? And that's why we have advocated that there is no need to pardon them, because you pardon them, there's no aspect, there's no form of deterrence. Any politician who steals money feels that tomorrow will be pardoned because they procure this pardon. You understand? You talk about plea bargain, you talk about all those rubbish. People coming up will just say that though he wasn't given any kind of draconian punishment, and so we can continue with it. Give them very, very, very hard convictions. Give them very hard. Put their posters on billboard all over. Let their children grow up and see that your father was corrupt and he was convicted for some of these things. There is a way you can deal with convicts of corruption, and tomorrow you will never see corruption again. We need to take it from other countries, because Nigeria is playing politics and being too lenient with politicians. So I agree with Fagbemi. Fagbemi is one of the most respected senior advocates of Nigeria in this country. And as soon as he was appointed by the president as the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, the entire bar and the bench rose in commendation of his appointment, because he's one man who has stood his ground. is one man who upholds the tenets of integrity, transparency, and accountability. So you know he was one that championed this autonomy of local government. It used to be something that it used to be something I just dreamed. He brought it to reality, and he will also bring this to reality. He wants to see how he can clean the mess, and so he's going to do it. So it's a welcome development.
So once upon a time in our country here, there was firing squad.
Yes.
I lived to see it happen.
Yes. Yeah, we used to at Makati Stadium.
That was
Makati
during the
Stadium, yes.
military.
Makati Stadium. They will fire you.
Yes.
There was nothing like pardon.
I'm telling you.
So I think, I don't know. Maybe we should go back to that era. Yeah, no position should be spared. Just imagine your children, generation,
Yeah.
the wealth of future generations are being stolen.
Yes. Yes.
Being stolen.
Yes.
Being stolen by some just few individuals.
There are so many disadvantages to pardon, because if they pardon, you can go back and contest for elections. You understand?
We have seen all these
Yes.
this Yahoo boys, they arrest them, they go and do play back here with the EFCC. EFCC will pretend as if they are sent.
Okay.
So,
Okay, but
They let them go.
so if when he said firing squad, I was just like, if we go back to that, it means there will be sanity.
yeah, we're not saying that will be complete sanity, but what we're saying is that
because everybody who wants to pilfer will be like,
I think even in the entire Nigeria, the last people that were executed was the Ken Saruwa,
Yes.
and since then they have not executed, because the state governors will tell you, you say execution, firing squad is still there. It's contained in the constitution, in the laws, in the penal code laws, in the penal code, as well as they are all there. But the governors are reluctant in signing execution warrants because they tell you that that's the reasons why they're not there. Because this is also goes back to politics.
Yeah, they come back with
because if you say they should go and fire somebody from any of the like take Benue State for instance, if you order that the governor signs that go and execute people from Zone C, they will never forgive you.
They won't.
Or go to Zone A and execute somebody. So it also boils down to politics.
That's true.
They may tell you that the person you order that you go and is your material case man.
But let's look at this again. When you said that, I was just looking at this. Even what happens in governance is the successor comes in, begins to try the predecessor.
Yeah.
And in that case, that means we'll be having series of firing squad. Because as a matter of fact, as an ex-governor, the one that is coming before you, if it's not your friend, just be doing that. just have it in mind that you might, because number one, they will maneuver the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Not to favor you.
Yes, that's true.
Because you don't have the war chest to go into court and begin to. So, anyway, that's it. But we hope things will get better and all of that. So, the U.S. president, the U.S. election, that is in leadership. The U.S. election is another thing there. Trump-Harris clash in historic debate. So I think the debate has taken place. But there's one thing that we hope to see in our country. People debating across levels, whether local government, chairmanship, governorship, or presidential. Last time, did we have any debate? No.
There was no debate because the incumbent president didn't.
No, he was busy.
He claimed he was so
he was so busy. But
he obstinately and adamantly refused.
Yes.
Well, that was what you saw, but he was busy. He was on a train, moving somewhere. So at that time, they were putting. We
can see the effects of it.
You see
the effects of it now.
Very good, yes.
The government, this government has no direction. Sorry to say it, but it's the truth.
But
no agenda, no economic plan, just nothing. They came with no plan, just the fact that
they say renewed hope.
Renewed hope, and what the renewed hope is what we have now is damaged hope.
So.
Of course,
they came. There was an agenda that was a blueprint, but what we ask is whether they're actually following the blueprint. Like you said, assuming there was a public debate, let Nigerians hear what do you have to offer. Yes. So we would have made comparisons between the aspirants.
But the Nigerians will hold you accountable.
Yes, the president was too busy.
He was very busy
to perform his side on the bargain, because those kind of debates are lawful, they are constitutional, they are provided in the laws. You need to. Because the law provides that you can do campaigns, you can sell your manifesto to the public, let them look at it, consider your policies, what you intend to do. You understand? So, as Nigerian public has the right to compare, they have the right to compare somebody to be accountable to come and present your blueprint before us so that we can assess it and know if that's truly what we want.
As maybe as we move on, as Agate TV is here now, we'll try as much as we can to begin to see that we can organize some of these debates
So,
and see what the contestants have to tell the people from their conversations. You can gauge his level of thinking. Seconds each. Aside from you, Barrister Andy, what's your own final take on all of the things we've said today?
Yeah, but I think I will first encourage us and every Nigerian that we need to rise up to the occasion. We need to begin to demand our leaders to give us their own reports about whatever is doing, what they are doing, and what they intend to do to us. And we should hold them accountable where they fail to do such things. We need to wear too docile. We need to rise up to the occasion to begin to demand their stewardship.
Some people ask you that, how do we do that? Because I sit sometimes and I look at government and I say, oh, they're not doing these things. Should I just go on a one-man protest? Or should I?
It's not just going on a one-man protest. There are so many ways of registering your disapproval. One of it is that you can do it at the polls. 2 is by way of recall. We have members who are members of the House of Assembly. You can go to your village and say your constituency, what he has done is wrong. You can use the media. And you begin to let the media know his weaknesses and his failures. You understand? This part of it is also recall. Part of it is a personal vote or no confidence. There are so many measures, so many ways provided by the laws for us to register our disapproval. They're there.
Okay, Oche, let me hear your own final take.
For now, I think the whole is. I only see this social, economic, and human rights accountability projects. They are the ones that are really putting the government on its toes. Yeah. That is why I say the government is always after them. Trying to ensure that they gag them, gag them in every way, using DSSS after them, because they'll be asking government account for loans. So imagine Nigeria being the third highest indebted nation in the world,
and nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show for it. Third highest indebted nation for it. So when you speak, they say but I think Nigerians should rise up. They should not get tired of speaking to government. Government, their policies, their programs, and how these programs are being implemented. We should continue to engage. And NGOs, CSOs should wake up.
And again, the media as well.
The media too. Wake up.
It's more
about government. Both at the federal level, the state level, every level of government.
You're a correspondent in Benue State here, and there are many questions people ask about the minimum wage implementation, the projects and all of that is happening. You said you've done a bit of the primary health care report on that. Sometimes the executive, the head, may not have all of this. The people surrounding them will tell them, Oga, all is well. Don't worry. You are doing well. You are doing well. So, when he drives in or comes and says, Oga, you are doing well. And he goes home thinking that indeed he's doing well. And sometimes when the journalists or the media put up some narrative, they see that as if they see it as if you are attacking.
And you're being antagonistic.
But we'll continue to see that we put the narrative very clear and make sure to bring to the leaders that what we are doing is not a witch hunt, but just to bring the right thing, what the people are saying. And for us in Agate, it's about the people. We don't bring what we feel. We bring to you what the people are saying. And what the people are saying, they say, voice populi, voice Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. So thank you very much, Oche Narum, correspondent, People's Daily. Thank you, Barrister Polycarp and former Secretary, NBA Makurdi Branch. Gentlemen, thank you again.
Thank you. I must say that Agate Radio is doing, Agate Radio and TV, they're doing well. I give a thumb up, and I appreciate your service to Benue people.
Thank you very much. Of course, don't get tired. I'll keep calling you. Let's go on the show. All right. My name is Benjamin Gutav, and wishing you the very best of the day. Bye for now.